I think what's so shocking to people, and and it's different even in Tulsa, and not that it's worse or better, but it is different in Oklahoma City than anywhere else. And the reason for that is we have world records. Things have happened here that have never happened anywhere else on the planet. So because of that, the viewers here, the people here are so fine-tuned. Like you I take this seriously. You know what the outcome can be.
Yes.
And to a lot of people, that's just, hey, there may be a few storms here and there. They don't see those images that you instantly see in your mind, and that comes into play. And so we have to, as a weather team, rise to that occasion. We have to give people that information because they want it no matter what time of day, and they want street level. That's what they basically demand, and we have the technology to do that.
You guys have spoiled us.
So we have to do that,
Okay, I'm pretty pumped. We got special guest on the podcast today. It's another Lacey, too. We already had the first Lacey, now we got second Lacey.
Let's be clear. There is two Laceys. There is a first and a second. I am the first.
I missed.
Okay, so we went out of order. We went with Lacey first. So we have Lacey Swope in this time, meteorologist, in case you didn't know, which I don't know how you wouldn't if you're in Oklahoma, because you've seen her face.
I know. And I got to tell you, I am so excited because we really don't get to talk to you enough. I mean, we do. But not really like this. So I'm loving this form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to start with, especially for people listening, and even for me.
Yeah. But by the way, this is like the second time I've met you in person.
I know.
I just stopped in one time and gave you a hug and then
it's always in passing.
Yeah.
We're like two ships passing in the night. We truly are.
So I don't know a lot of this stuff about you either.
So
I'm excited.
Let's start. I know this. You grew up in Kiefer.
I did.
But kind of give us a little backstory about how Lacey Swope grew up there and got to where she is today.
Yeah, so I fell off a turnip truck. That's basically what happened.
Okay.
No, I really am from a super small town. So I graduated with 21 people.
Wow.
So very, very teeny town. There's like 1,000 people in Kiefer. That was population. Now it's like doubled. It's huge for what it was. Massive.
2,000.
We were like 1A, and I think now they're 3A or something. So
moving up.
Listen.
I can kind of relate. I grew up in Bethany.
Okay.
So we graduated with 75, and I thought that was a small class.
That is really small.
But not 25.
21.
Oh, 21.
Yeah. So very, very small. But anyhow, so I grew up in Kiefer, third generation to go there, and always loved science. And I wanted to go into what I thought was the health field. I loved meteorology. I've always loved meteorology. I've loved weather. I mean, my dad literally has videotapes, VHS tapes, that he would record the TV growing up anytime the weatherman was on, and he would record it on the TV and then play it back. And anytime there were storms coming through, he would get out the big old video camera and he would record the windows busting out of the house or the hailstones outside. I have so many videos of my dad from like 1992 with a big old camera walking outside like, I think I see the wall cloud.
So he's the Oklahoman.
He is.
He's the meme Oklahoman.
Huge weather nerd. And so I just grew up with that. I mean, the weather was on all the time. I feel like that's most of people. Yeah. But that's how I grew up. And so when I got into high school and then decided I wanted to go to OU. That's where I went where I wanted to go.
Boomer.
Sooner. Yes. As a huge fan, but also just as first generation of my entire family going to college, really, and having the opportunity to do that. So I didn't really know what I was doing, or didn't really know how to declare a major or what, but I just knew I wanted to go, and I wanted to go to OU. So I got there, wanted to get into the health field, I thought. Mm-hmm. They had a couple of different classes you could take to introduce you to different health careers that they offered, and every single class, I was like, nope. I was like, I can't stand this. I do not want to do this. So I decided that instead of, the blood and gore of nursing or whatever it may be, I love the clouds. I want to do physics. I want to do math. I want to do that side of things. So I went into a different science field and I went into meteorology.
Wow.
I know.
So where did you start doing meteorology?
So I graduated college. When I was going through college, there was an internship with one of my best friends had an internship at News 9. And he was interning with Gary England. And he said, hey, I'm going to be gone for the summer. You talk a lot. And I think you would be good at talking on air about weather. And I had no interest in TV. I did not want to go into TV. I should say that. My desire was to go into like computer coding or work in research. I really love research. I was really into like solar panels. Whenever I was in college, I thought it was like the cutting edge thing. So I thought that was going to be my career. And he just said, hey, you should go up to the station. He just kept hounding me on it. His name is Luke Doris. Shout out. He's a chief now in Kansas City. But he was like, hey, you should get out there and go meet a weather team and see a TV station.
Yeah.
So I walked in, never had been in front of a camera, nothing. And they were just so gracious at News 9. And they're like, you know what? You should take this internship. You should do this. And that's how I got it. And then from there, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with getting to get up there. There's no script. It's like what you guys do. And you just get to talk and you get to be yourself. And I was awful. I was god awful. I mean, I was so bad. I have all those tapes on beta, by the way, which are crazy to go back and watch. But my first job, I landed in Sioux City, Iowa. It was market 149 in the television market. That's really teeny tiny, but is where I belonged. Like I needed to be there. Those poor people had to watch me. And then I ended up getting out of my contract there. And I called Gary and I said, hey, at News 9, I said, I'm moving back home. I can't be away from Oklahoma. I can't be away from family. This is not a good fit for me. I will come there and take out the trash. I'll make you a sandwich.
Right. I'll do anything.
Anything. Yeah. If there's a job for me. And there was a weather producing position opening up at News 9. And he just said, it's yours if you want it. And so I started as a weather producer back at the station and just have kind of worked when other things have become available since then.
That's so like, incredible. When did this happen?
I started at News 9 in 2011.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a long time. Longer than I had any idea.
I've been doing this a really long time. Yes. But you learn something new. That's what's so crazy. It's always changing. Every storm season is different. And so it just keeps you on your toes.
Well, and I got to say, as viewers, we marvel at what you and David are able to do, especially when it is severe. You guys, not only are you keeping us aware, but you're educating us. You guys do an amazing job.
That's what's so amazing about David. I'm telling you. I mean, I've worked since I was 15 years old and supported myself, but I've never had a boss like him. He's not going to hear this, hopefully, but he's like the most humble person that I've ever worked for and worked with. And he just wants the best people around him all the time. And so he wants you to rise to the occasion. And he's the first to say, I've never seen this before. You're watching this with me. And here's what we can take away from that. Here's what we learned from that. And then we'll kind of debrief after every event and say, why did that storm do that? Did you pick up that this one was starting to turn right? You know, and we just try to learn from every single storm. And I have learned that from him. Don't let that go to your head.
So, yeah, don't let that go to your head, Dave. By the way, maybe we'll get David on someday. He's too big for us. He won't do our podcast.
He's a very busy man.
I'm kidding.
You mentioned it's an interesting job because it's two entirely different skill sets. Like you have to have the knowledge of the meteorology and be able to learn and follow all that stuff. But you also have the personality. You mentioned being able to just talk on the fly, which I think is a really difficult skill. And you really shine at that because you're having to keep an eye on something like not where you would think it would be, like tracking where your hand, you just do so much stuff. It's constantly amazed that you do it so flawlessly and watching you in the studio and David both.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It looks almost like a dance, the way you move around. It does look like a coordinated dance of everything. And I know you have people in your ear going 30 seconds and you're figuring out, you are automatically cutting things in your mind and editing down to like, okay, I need to wrap this up in 30. Like it's amazing that you have all of those skill sets as one. You are very, very good at what you do.
Well,
Lacey.
that is very kind. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you guys.
I think people just don't understand how difficult
you're juggling
that is.
So many things, but we juggle so many things in life, and it's just whatever you decide to focus on and prioritize. So the knowledge of meteorology, I've loved that. That's a passion of mine. So I think that it doesn't feel like work. I love that side of it. I love forecasting. I would be doing that if I wasn't doing it and telling people. I would just still be sitting at home trying to figure out what's going to happen and looking at data.
Really?
Yes, I did that all through college for no reason. I just, you know what I mean? I just love it. I'm always up to date with what storms are doing across the country, across the world. So learning the skill set of communicating that in a way that people can respond to, that was not natural to me. I'll say I was awful. I was one of those people that was so incredibly nerdy. I'd never worn like dresses and makeup, the on-air whole thing. That was all a learned. If you call it a skill now, that was definitely learned because it was not something that came natural to me at all. I was one of those people that if you put a big camera in front of me, I was probably going to pee my pants, honestly. So it took a long time to get comfortable with that. And really some of the best advice I've ever gotten in my career is you just talk to the camera like you're talking to your grandma. And so that was the best thing that I was ever told. And I was told by Toby Rowland to make sure and smile with my eyes because that's the most engaging thing. So I would sit in front of the camera and figure out like, what does that mean? How do you smile with your eyes? Which Toby does, by the way. And so I just tried to put together so many things from people around me and soak up their skills. And a lot of it is just multitasking and figuring out what's the most important thing right now and getting that out there, but also working with people that make that easy. I work with incredible people, and David and I hate to admit this, but a lot of times are on the same wavelength. I wouldn't say that outside of this because you don't want to be on the same wavelength, but sometimes that works, and so I can just look over at him and I can tell by the look on his face. And I'm sure you guys are that way.
Yes.
Working together, what's coming next, what that other person needs. And so that helps a ton too.
Let me ask you this. I think I know the answer, but I want to see if this is the truth. So what is the more difficult part of your job? Covering the severe or covering just the sunny and hot, sunny and hot, sunny and hot?
Definitely the sunny and hot. It's more difficult. It is, because there's so much to talk about. I mean, I'm literally editing out, like you said, Rachel, editing out stuff when there's severe weather. I'm editing out parts of it. You can't get it all in. Sometimes my hits are 4 minutes and 30 seconds, which is a lifetime in TV. Yeah. But that's not nearly enough time to tell people we have such a big viewing area and explain the threats and what's coming. Whenever it's quiet, I will say I've never had to actually fill the time. Like, it's been difficult to fill it because I'll go find something that's going on somewhere else that I think is interesting. But it is more difficult and I think tasking when the weather doesn't just give you something to talk about.
That's interesting because it looks so chaotic because you're talking to tracker. Like, you have so much information coming at you constantly and things updating all the time. So, but I guess it keeps you on your toes. And if that's your thing, like you got into meteorology in Oklahoma for that reason, I imagine, because this market specifically, a lot of weather events.
It is the weather mecca of the world. I mean, severe weather, I should say.
I will tell you straight up. Okay, so this is a true story. There's a few years back, I had the opportunity to go, I think it was the AMAs. It was one of whatever was taking place at Jerry's World. It was a music award show that I got invited to, got to go. Okay. So we're staying in a hotel. It's in DFW. The tornado sirens are going off. Now we're on the 3rd floor. So I immediately grab my wife and we go down to the lobby. And I immediately say, "Where's your safe room?" The guy looks at me like I'm crazy. Now sirens are blaring. Okay.
Serious.
And he goes, "I think it's over there in the corner," which was nothing but glass. And I said, "I know that's not it because it's nothing but glass." I mean, the thing is, I couldn't even remember. I think it was some meteorologist I know that used to be in Oklahoma City on one of the stations. I don't think it was the CBS affiliate. But anyway, I knew he was down there and I said, "Hey, go to that one and they'll be able to." They weren't doing anything. So nobody, what I'm getting at here is, does coverage like this except Oklahoma.
And Dallas gets a lot of severe weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not that far removed from Oklahoma City. I cannot believe they don't put the priority on it.
I think what's so shocking to people, and it's different even in Tulsa, and not that it's worse or better, but it is different in Oklahoma City than anywhere else. And the reason for that is we have world records. Things have happened here that have never happened anywhere else on the planet. So because of that, the viewers here, the people here are so fine-tuned. Like you I take this seriously. You know what the outcome can be.
Yes.
And to a lot of people, that's just, hey, there may be a few storms here and there. They don't see those images that you instantly see in your mind. And that comes into play. And so we have to, as a weather team, rise to that occasion. We have to give people that information because they want it no matter what time of day. And they want street level. That's what they basically demand. And we have the technology to do that.
You guys have spoiled us.
So we have to do that, And I think it's very different in virtually every other market because of what we've gone through here in the Oklahoma City metro.
Yeah. And I think that education part that you mentioned is really helpful. I mean, think of all the terms that just Oklahomans know. I mean, we had the bingo wall cloud. Like, we've got all the things. Right. We kind of know what to expect. And I think you don't notice that until you get out of town somewhere else and they're experiencing something and like, you guys don't know about this? Like, it's because of the constant education that you guys have put into the programming itself. So the viewers can kind of understand what exactly is happening to as they're seeing it. And so when they're in other places, they have this information.
Well, and there's a lot of times we're on air for a really long time. I mean, hours and hours and hours. And so we're just talking about what we're seeing. And I've learned that from David. I mean, there's no one better at that than him. He will describe everything he's seeing. And then it makes it somewhat entertaining at home and can calm your nerves. Because if he's saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing, I'm not so concerned about this. There's weight to that. People trust that versus, okay, now I've seen this a million times. This is going the wrong way, And you'll see that in different markets across the country. Some of that is just their budget. Some of that is their staffing. They don't have the ability to do necessarily the things we can do. I mean, we have 2 helicopters at our disposal and we have the storm trackers and all the partners and the teams that we have, and other markets just don't have that. We throw everything at it, but we hear that from Oklahomans all the time. Like, viewers will go to, say, Arkansas. They'll be at, let's just say, Branson, not to throw Branson under the bus, but they'll be there and say, hey, we had a tornado warning and I couldn't find out anything. I didn't even know what to do. And it's just simply because of weather we have here and what we get is the most extreme on the planet.
This is what's so bad. I'm going to do a true confession here, and Lacey's tired of it, by the way. Every time there is pretty bad weather, I'll send her a video because I keep auditioning to be a storm tracker. And as you can tell, they have not yet taken me up on this.
I haven't seen any of that footage
I have passed that on to the hiring department.
Oh, come on. You have trashed that immediately. Okay, let's kind of pivot from weather a little bit. You said that you had to come back to Oklahoma because of family. Sure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about family? And I'm kind of curious, did family kind of influence you too on your hunting and fishing that you're so into?
100%.
So tell us a little bit about the fam.
Okay, so I grew up, like I said, it's a very small town, Kiefer, Oklahoma, third generation to be in this small town. So I just grew up knowing everybody. All my cousins are there. All my family's there. My mom's side, my dad's side. It's just, one of those types of Oklahoma small towns. And I have an older brother. I have a younger sister. My brother and my dad were so much into the outdoors and hunting and fishing. My mom and dad actually tournament bass fished when I was growing up together.
That's cool.
And so my mom's always been big into fishing. She's never been that big of a hunter, but she just likes the outdoors and sitting out, like most people do, sitting out drinking coffee, watching the world wake up, you know. And so I just grew up doing that and having a great appreciation for that. My dad, I would bug him to take me with him. He would take me, and then he realized, hey, I think she might actually like this. So I got to go hunting when I started. I was 12 years old when I actually harvested my first deer. So that was a really big deal. I didn't know any other girls that did that. I didn't do it to be cool. I just did it because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I loved sharing that time with my family back in those days. You checked your deer in at a check-in station. And so it was just, the whole process was amazing, and so I grew up loving that, but that also helped fuel my love for the atmosphere, because when you're outside and you're sitting on a lake, when the sun's coming up, it gets so still and quiet, and you wonder, why does the temperature drop? I had all these questions. Why do the deer behave this way, or the turkey when the storms are coming? All these things that I just wanted to learn more about. And then I got my big job when I was 15. Well, I started working at a sporting goods store, and I made T-shirts. And then when I was 16, I started working at Rib Crib in Sapulpa. Now, that was a big deal.
Hey, that is a big deal.
That was the nicest restaurant in town. Okay. And so when they opened that Rib Crib, I was like, I want to work there as a waitress.
Sapulpa.
In Sapulpa. So that's where I worked. My husband worked in the kitchen at Sapulpa.
Is that where you guys met?
That's where we met. We are Rib Crib sweethearts.
No way.
Yep. We still go back. The barbecue's great.
So
Rib Crib sweethearts. And so he had known from friends that I like to hunt. And he's an outdoorsman too. And so he was like, hey, I want to get to know this girl. And so we just hit it off. And we've been together ever since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
So that's a lot of years too.
That's awesome. You have at least one kiddo. Do you have more?
So I have two.
Okay.
So ended up, we got married whenever I was a senior in college. So I was 21 years old. We had our first baby almost 6 years ago.
Wow.
So I have a daughter, Brooklyn. She is almost 6. My son, Troy, is about to turn 3. So I have 2 kids, and Tyler stays home. So he's an architectural engineer, my husband. And that's what allows me to do what I do, honestly. My schedule is so insane. Everyone's schedule's insane. Everyone's busy. It's just mine happens to be in the middle of the night. And so he decided to completely give up his career for now, put it on hold, and he stays home with the baby. So he's a full-time stay-at-home dad.
That is awesome.
It's
really
pretty
is.
amazing.
You sound like me. That's what I say about my wife. My wife works for a living, and I get to go play.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there you go. So are the kids now, are you getting them into fishing and hunting as well?
Well, it's just, that's what we do as a family. It's kind of our family time. We still go do that with my mom and dad, with my siblings. And it's just kind of what we do as a family when we have free time. Plus, it gets me away from the city, which sometimes I can't wait. I cannot wait for Friday. As soon as I get off work, I'm getting out of here. I love it when I'm here. I'm dedicated, but I'm telling you, when I can get that time outside, that's what I go do. And they go with us. So my daughter loves to fish. My son likes to throw rocks, and he likes to throw himself in the pond. So right now, it's just trying to keep him alive. Really.
I gotta tell you, I think I like Troy a lot now.
Yeah, right.
He's a wild one. For
I'm
sure.
jumping in the pond for sure.
That's what he does. My daughter loves to go sit. She'll sit for hours with me in a deer blind, and do that kind of stuff. And we just,
That's awesome.
as a family, that's what we like to go do.
Yeah. Do you have any hunting stories that stand out as funny or you're proud of and you want to brag on?
Oh my gosh, there's just so many. I've
had
hunted
to misfire.
I have not missed a season since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So I've done this for a couple of years now. And I think I tell people this all the time, my favorite memories are the ones with my kids with me. It's crazy how that perspective changes. So it doesn't matter what I've necessarily harvested, but just the memories of sitting there, my daughter's eyes whenever she sees the deer come out and she gets the whisper, the hunter whisper, there comes one, Mom, it's coming in from the left, and she gets into it. That's my favorite. Last year I took a doe and she was with me, and that was my favorite hunt of my entire life, was just there with her watching, getting to educate her, showing her how we respect the animal, what we do, and I think just seeing her explore the world around her. And eventually that'll be my son, but right now that would be a nightmare.
Last time I went hunting, deer hunting, I hadn't seen a deer all day. Mother Nature called, so I went to answer.
Sure.
Guns against one tree, I'm kind of up against the other. As I'm pants down, taking care of business, here comes a deer. Oh, it's a pretty good sized buck too, by the way. and then just decides to stand there and stare at me.
Oh my gosh. No.
And stare at me. And I'm thinking he's going to leave in a little bit. Maybe I can get him.
Nope.
The long story short of this is my legs are about to give out. I'm about to fall in what I've been doing. And so I was so mad at this point, I just went, and scared him away because and I haven't been deer hunting since.
That I've had a couple of calls like that have been very similar. Very, very similar.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. When you put in all the time and the effort and then are you kidding me? I really do think, and I try to trick the deer sometimes by opening up a snack because it's like once you distract yourself, that's usually when they come out and catch you off guard. So I'm like, I'm going to open this Twinkie. Doesn't necessarily work, but I try.
I like that strategy. We kind of covered work stuff, which people know you're a meteorologist and they know you like hunting. What is something that people wouldn't expect about you that wouldn't show up on a bio, wouldn't?
Oh my gosh.
A random fact.
Probably that, I mean, I homeschool. That's something that I never really talk about that much, that often. I was homeschooled. So I did graduate from Kiefer High School, but I was homeschooled up until my sophomore year. So anything odd that happens in my life, I just blame it on the fact that I was homeschooled. Like I am that homeschool kid. So if something happens at work, it's very common, especially like with Lacey or Robin, my pals in the morning, or Colby. I'll just be like, well, I'm the homeschool kid. So that is why. But I really love being able to completely get off work, go home, sit down with my family, block everything out, and be able to fine tune education to what my daughter needs, what my son needs. And I'm having so much fun doing it. It takes up so much of my time that I never talk about, but I absolutely love it.
I was going to say, I love to hear that. I know a lot of parents just have a complicated relationship with homeschool because it is a lot. You're getting home and doing an entirely other job.
It is.
But I think it's very valuable because everybody learns in different ways. I didn't learn in like the standard way that's taught through school. Wasn't the best way for me. So I think it's really cool that you can kind of adjust the education to your actual children.
And everyone does it for different reasons. You know, everyone has their reason and whatever's right or best for their family.
Totally.
I don't know where my kids will end up, even in the next year. But right now we're absolutely loving it. It's probably the most special time to me is getting home. And my daughter, she's so fired up about everything. That's awesome. She loves science because I love science. And she loves math because I love math. I don't want her to ever lose it. I know eventually that's not going to be the case, but right now if I'm doing it, she thinks it's cool. So I'm trying to just fine tune that with her, and we have so much fun in the afternoons.
That's awesome.
You know what? This turns out to be a perfect segue because we were going to have her be a judge, but now because she's homeschooled, she has a little bit of art teacher in her, right?
Oh, yes.
I dabble.
And this is about the level of your kids' age. So
in fact, when you see my craft, you'll know. What grade is she in?
So technically kindergarten.
Yeah, that's about right.
This will be about my skill level here.
So quick backstory. Yes. I do crafting stuff.
Okay.
Jeff is usually pretty complimentary, but I made
No, I'm serious. I really do. I give her, my job, pretty much probably like David with you, is to give her crap.
Sure, absolutely.
So I do that very well. But I also tell her how good she is. And I kid you not, she's got this craft, I don't know, gene.
You're saying all that. This feels like a big lead up. Then she's going to see this and be like,
I'm just saying.
Sure.
I don't have that. I just want to say I don't at all.
Well, so I was giving her on air. I was giving her so much crap about her pottery, but behind the scenes, I'd text her and tell her she was doing good. So this is what she came up with.
I was like, oh, well, if you're going to be like that, let's make you do a craft. So I picked a method that neither one of us were very comfortable with because everybody knows how to color or whatever. But I got us air clay. Have you ever used air clay before? It just dry.
I will tell you, don't.
It's a little hard to work with. I went to Five Below and got like a $5 pack of air clay. So you could make whatever you want, as many pieces as you want, whatever size you want. Artistic interpretation. So who should go first? What do you think? Jeff?
I'm going to go first and get it over with because I have no craft bone in my body, and she made me do this. And when we knew you were coming in, she was so excited because she goes, "Oh, we can have Lacey.
We have a judge now. Yes, it's perfect."
Now you have to know me, okay, and you'll get how good
you did. What I thought you might do.
Yeah, I did. So, well, we're just going to show you, okay?
Whoa!
There you go. I'm a huge SpongeBob fan.
Okay. Jeff has made SpongeBob characters, and a lot. Those are really good.
So I put together SpongeBob, really Patrick, Plankton, and I also got Mr. Krabs and Squidward.
Can I touch these?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Those are really good, right? Jeff, I
don't know that they're really good.
No, I am legitimately
if you
impressed.
actually made that, like I couldn't.
I really did. I made.
I couldn't sculpt that. I couldn't make that. That doesn't look like kindergarten. That's at least first grade.
That's at least first grade. Yeah, I'll second that. Look at that Squidward.
Are we going to take pictures of this and show?
For sure. Yeah. But
like the SpongeBob even.
I mean, it's SpongeBob. I'm really proud of. I got his teeth.
Look at the tie. The tie is like in 3D. It's popping off of the sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, I got to say, I feel like you were just pretending that they weren't going to be good.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting.
They're still bad. I'm scared to see yours.
Okay, well,
There's
mine.
texture and layers.
I made my own action figure.
What?
Oh, see, I knew it. That is not
Look
fair.
at
She has, if you want to stand it, she has a glue dot that I have to take the thing because she dried a little crooked.
That
Look at her
is
curls.
not fair.
Look at her curls.
No action figures complete without accessories. So we got some headphones.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
the
see,
detail.
this is why I didn't want
She
to
goes
do
above and
this.
We also
Yeah,
have
this puts yours to shame. Hers is 3D.
this is a
flat.
can of beans.
Oh, yeah,
because
she eats a
I'm
lot of
famous
beans.
for knowing
Yeah,
can of beans.
she eats a lot of beans.
Because I'm taking a pottery class, I made myself a little pot right there.
Wow.
And
This is above and beyond.
you can't have morning show unless you got a cup of coffee with
I'm
you.
done.
So,
You know
Okay,
what?
you're done.
I really
you
wanna
are.
walk out the
Look
door.
at that.
Yeah, I know. Look at that.
Okay.
but you did really good too, Jeff.
No, there's no comparison there.
Okay,
I
well.
agree. No comparison.
Wow.
I'm glad we brought a judge in because I really thought I might lose this.
I thought yours was
No,
gonna be.
there's no way.
Look at that.
Listen, I was going to
She's
make.
even got a little booty.
I did make a booty. It flattened out because I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm drying it. And then my booty was getting flat. So I moved to the front and then the hand got flat. There was no.
And the hands in the pocket.
And she's
The
always
hands in the
worried about
pocket.
the booty in real life anyway. So
Yeah.
there you go.
There
I
you
was
go.
going to make a Jeff, but it's hard to mix the right skin color. So you would have been real orange like my lips. So I was going to make two of us, but
The
we
lips
just
are
ended
impressive.
up with one. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So are you saying that I won this
Yeah,
one?
100%. 100% goes to Rachel.
I can't argue. I mean, I can't.
so
That is
excited.
amazing. See, I told
The
you.
hair's
Did
amazing.
I not sell
I
it
was
right?
really
She
happy.
has a huge
Yeah.
craft
Thank
gene.
you. I
Yeah, I
had
wouldn't be able to do that.
I had the head just laying out, and my friends were like, "Did you get that from Dollar Tree?" And I was like, oh, "You think I bought
Bought
that
it?
from Dollar Tree?" And they're like, "Well, I wouldn't have bought it, but it looks like something you would have bought from Dollar Tree."
Yeah,
So
that's not fair.
That's incredible.
yeah,
You've put so many different pieces. That's amazing.
you
know.
really did good, Jeff. You downplay your craft. You can craft better than you think. You may not have won.
Squidward's
Those are
really bad.
good.
Squidward's really bad.
No, he was one of my favorites.
Was he?
Yeah.
I like plankton. I think.
Yeah,
that's
Plankton. Well, Plankton was easy.
Jeff, I'm gonna give that grades. What would you give Jeff's grade?
Oh,
Be gentle, teach.
I think a solid B.
That's what I would give you
A
as
B?
well.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were thinking C minus maybe.
No.
You're above average.
Yeah.
Feel good, Jeff.
Wait, can I get that said louder? And maybe both of you, because I've never heard that.
You did a good job, Jeff. Okay, now we do a little. These are called Tell Me More cards. They're just
Ooh,
conversation
okay.
starters. You can just
Do we
pull it
shuffle
out of
it?
the pack
Just pick one.
however you
Pick
want
one.
to. And the only rule is the only reason you can pass is not because the question's hard, but if it's too personal and you just don't want to answer it, you
Oh.
can pass.
What's something you feel hopeful about? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, these are thinkers.
They are. They are. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm just a hopeful person. I feel like every day it's kind of goes along with being a morning show,
Totally
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
So it's like this day is going to be better because it has to be. Yeah,
we
this
have
is
no
going to be
choice.
good. But feeling hopeful about, I think coming up just more for my family and raising
Yeah.
kids. And I feel hopeful they're going to be outstanding citizens. And
That's
yeah,
a good answer.
that's kind of what I spend all my time focusing on.
The first thing that popped in my head, this is not necessarily my answer, but that I was when she read that was that Oklahoma summer this year is not going to be so freaking hot.
Don't we really all hope for that every single
Yes.
year?
How's that looking, Lacey?
It looks hot, but I think as green as we are, it's going to be no matter what. You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
have
know,
hot
I
days.
can't avoid
But
it.
how green we are should help. Usually, when we get really, really wet Aprils, which this was the wettest April on record, that will help
Cool
tone
it
down
down.
the July and the August
Okay.
some.
Hey.
that is
So,
hopeful.
we'll
Thank
see.
you for that.
Okay, how about my real answer, I guess?
Yeah, are
Um,
you all answering the same one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Something I'm hopeful about. Honestly, I'm just hopeful that the rest of this year for everybody continues to go as well as it seems like it is. Now, I know you can nitpick that apart with the economy and whatnot, but for the most part, we're in a pretty good spot right now. And I think, if we can just all stay hopeful and friendly and love one
Yeah.
another, then maybe we can just
Get a
continue this
upward
good
trajectory.
vibe we're on.
Right.
Okay. I like that. I'm hopeful. Like I said, I just started taking pottery class. I'm hopeful that by Christmas, I can start making things that I'm not ashamed to give as gifts. Hopeful.
That's a great one.
That
It's hard.
is.
I'm doing wheel throwing, so it's like,
Wow.
It's hard.
What a cool skill to have.
I thought so too. We'll see if I can actually make it work. Because right now I just have a lot of little trinket dishes, I guess we'll call them, that I don't know what I'm going to do with any of that because they're not good enough to give to people. Yeah. So I just have a bunch of random dishes.
Let me just say this.
The house.
If the freaking pottery doesn't work, the dry clay thing worked fine for you.
The bubble clay or
air
maybe
clay,
I can
move to hand building clay instead of air dry clay if the wheel throwing doesn't work. What's your question, Jeff?
All right. If you could let go of something right now, no matter how big or small, what would it be? Wow.
That's a big question.
Who goes first?
I'll go. Well, I had to answer first.
I'm still thinking.
A relationship? I don't know if I want to let go of that, but it just seems like it would make life easier.
It would.
So there's my honest answer about it. That popped in my head immediately.
I love it.
Man, I don't. Jeff? If you could let go right now, no matter how big or small, what would it be? Honestly, and I've really been working on this, probably the way that I handle OU athletics.
Nice.
Sometimes I'm a little too involved and
just trying to let go a little bit.
Not a happy person when there's an L in the bracket. Yeah. So it says big or small. So I went small.
Sure. I like that.
Sure. I think probably some just negativity that comes with social media for me. If I could, I say that it doesn't bother me and I'm like, whatever. But if I could completely say, you know what? I do not care. Because if you're coming from that place and that's your opinion, then you just don't matter in my life. I want to get to that place.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I was going to say, because of the fact that we're in the similar business here, we get roasted. I mean,
every day. Every day we hear stuff, because people are looking at you and they always have an opinion about something.
So a lot of times it's funny and sometimes they're right.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, that's fair. That's a fair criticism.
And here's the deal, whether they're right or wrong, though, to me, I'm always like, it takes so much more energy to be hateful like that than just to be nice. What are you doing?
Right.
You didn't have to comment.
No. You could have just, said nothing at all.
All right. Last question. What's something you're in the process of outgrowing?
Oh my gosh. A lot of things.
All my clothes?
Honestly, my baby room in my house is probably one of the things. If I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, my baby room. So my son is still in his crib, which is crazy. So I'm not physically outgrowing it, but he is. But he has no desire to get out of it. My daughter, when she was 2.5, she was climbing out of the crib. Like she can't be contained. She can't be caged. Like she was ready to take on the world. He has no idea that that's even an option. And I want to nurture that as long as possible. Like, please sleep in your crib till you're 16. That's what I would prefer because it's just easier and I know where he is. But he's so big now and lengthwise, he doesn't necessarily even fit in his, and it's not appropriate. He's got a very baby room, but he is my baby. And so at some point I'm going to have to get the kid to bed.
Yeah.
So he is outgrowing it.
He's outgrowing it.
He's not ready to let it go either.
No. He's a mama's boy.
I think I can tell you mine. Okay. And this isn't, I'm saying that I'm done, but I'm outgrowing more and more the 2:30 wake up call.
Yeah.
Of having to do. I've been doing mornings for 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that grind is real.
Lacey, 35,
and do you get used
right
to
here.
it? That's the question I always get. Do you get used to
Never.
it? No, you don't.
Your body's not meant to be awake that early.
No, that's what I was going to say. When people ask me that, I do. And then I kind of say, just think about it. It's not even in the morning anymore. It's the middle of the night.
It's the night.
You're not supposed to wake up that 100%. Early.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm outgrowing that.
Okay. I'm going to go with outgrow is growth. I'm trying to outgrow letting stupid fears determine decisions. When those things that you are just intimidated to do, but when you think worst case scenario, what's really the worst that happens? You look a little silly.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I think I've let so many things stop me from just looking a little the worst case scenario is really not that bad. I just don't want to lean into that discomfort. So I'm trying to outgrow just letting fear kind of control decisions that can move me forward. They're just small things. It's good to take fear into account sometimes, but it can hold you back.
Now I know why you pushed me into this craft challenge.
That's right.
You're pushing me in the same direction.
I told you it was good for your growth because he was like, I like to do things. He said, I like to do things well, and I'm afraid I can't do it well. And I said, good, you're leaning into your discomfort then. And I think you did an exceptional job. A B. An exceptional B of a job.
Yeah, but A+ over there. Sure, appreciate it.
Well, I'm experienced, Jeff. Don't let it get you too down. Keep practicing.
And talented. Sometimes it's just talent, It's
a natural gift.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Well, I think it's about it. Wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it's so fun.
Yeah. Anything else you want to throw out?
You guys are a lot more fun.
Hey.
We won't tell them that you said that.
Yeah. Anything you want to throw out before we let you go?
No, I truly love what I do. I think that's seriously an opportunity to even come do this. There are so many folks that are stuck in a job for whatever reason that they have to do something that it may be really difficult. I mean, even on the hardest days, I look at David and I'm like, David, we're not putting down asphalt in Oklahoma summer.
Yes.
We're not roofing. There are people that have really difficult jobs, and I have a passion for what I do. I'm thankful every day.
Well, I tell you this all the time when we actually talk via the radio.
Sure.
But now that I can actually look into your eyes and tell you the same thing, we really do appreciate you in this partnership. And you have always been so good to help us out when things are like, little sketchy and people want to know what's going on.
Sure. Anytime.
And I think it's such an encouragement to hear this is a polished years of Lacey. Like, you make it look so natural that I think people are just like, I could never do that. I don't have the skill set to do it. It's because you've actually honed your craft. And now you can make it look natural.
Right.
So I think that's a big encouragement.
Huge compliment too from you guys. I will find those tapes and post them sometime. Because it will make anyone feel good about themselves.
Do you have somebody that can convert them off of bait?
You know someone, let me know.
I've got... Okay, if you do that, then I'll try to find... I've got some old air checks of mine that...
Seriously?
Oh, dude, I was such a puker. It's like, hey,
it'll be fun. And I have some mini discs. We can all expose ourselves so people can see it's a process.
If nothing else, we'll share between the three of us.
There we go.